So let's talk about developing compelling products and services. As we think about what products and services we want to develop, it's helpful for us to understand what options that are out there. And the list of options, teaching and consulting related products, it's continuing to grow. For instance, you can create online classes. You can create a membership site. You can host live classes and workshops. You can conduct webinars. You can conduct coaching sessions at an individual level or a group level with a business or a group of businesses. You can write books and ebooks. You can create audio programs. You can facilitate and lead and sponsor mastermind groups. You can be a part of a seminar. You can host a seminar. You can be involved in speaking. You can create customized training for people or for organizations. And you can create and host software. Now, it's important for us as we go about trying to develop compelling products and services to really understand what business is all about. And Peter Drucker, he helped us to really understand the core of it. And he simplified things for us. He said business is about marketing and innovation. Anything beyond this is a cost. And so if we think about it, marketing, really there's two simple aspects associated with marketing. One is really understanding the customer's needs. And then the second is communicating with the customer in a way that engages with the customer. And then the other part of business is really innovation. And really what that is creating things that people want. It might be creating something brand new. It might be creating something that's better than anything that's out there or different from anything that's out there. But what it does, it's about solving a problem that wasn't previously available. Now, you have probably begun to think about different ideas, niche ideas. And the truth of the matter is you probably have defined a target market that is too broad. Now, the question is, how can you narrow this down? Now, you might say, well, why do you think that I've created a target market that's too broad? Well, we all tend to do that. And there are very, very few exceptions. We all tend to do that. We tend to think that by being more general, that there will be more opportunities. However, the truth is when we become more focused, we get higher conversion rates. And by being focused, we develop better solutions to problems and we communicate more effectively. So as we begin to narrow our focus and we refine our target market focus, then we begin to improve the prospects that we're going to be able to develop compelling products and services. And before we get started, one of the honest questions that we need to ask is there a burning need? Is the niche underserved? What products and services could you provide that solves this burning need? An important question is, how passionate would you be about these products and services? If you're not passionate, then that's going to come out. And then the obvious financial question that you need to ask is, what would your target audience be willing to pay for a solution? Now, part of what you need to do in terms of doing due diligence to make sure that you can develop a product and service that is compelling is you need to really do some market research to find ideas that can really sell. And we've talked about the importance of you identifying your noble passions, your talents, your strengths. It's also important, it's vitally important for you to step back and just remember the core needs of people. Now, you're probably familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Now, Abraham Maslow did an incredible job of sitting back and saying, okay, here are the various needs that people in the world have. And he said, at the very base of this model, there are physiological needs that people have. And once those needs are met, then a new set of needs begin to manifest themselves. People have a need for safety and security. And once those needs are met, then we begin to think about love and belonging. And then once those needs are taken care of, we want self-esteem. And then ultimately we want to self-actualize. And so as you look at your customers, your target customers, really sit back and say, okay, what are their most pressing needs? Where are they coming from? And where does my niche idea come into this equation? Today, there are some invaluable online resources. It used to be doing market research was a real bear. I mean, surveys, focus groups, phone calls, there are a variety of different ways that you could go about trying to valuable information, but nothing is more helpful than looking at actual data, what's selling in the marketplace. In Amazon, in our program, we get into this. And in Amazon, you can go in and you can identify the best sellers. You can estimate sales revenue by looking at the sales rank, and you need to know how to do that and understand the limitations of coming up with those type of estimates. Also in Google provides some wonderful tools that allow you to see how much interest there is in a keyword or related keywords. You're able to see what the competition is. You're able to see what vendors are willing to pay to have ads created. So Google provides extremely helpful information. ClickBanks and other affiliate networks, you can go into those sites and you can look in, for instance, in ClickBank, you can look at Marketplace and you can see what products are selling, which ones are the most popular. And there are tons of other tools that are out there. So it's important for you to not just come up with your idea, but to have your idea, have the customer in mind, but do your market research and go back and forth until you find something that really resonates with you and that really is something that has a high probability of succeeding in the marketplace. There are also a number of market segmentation approaches that you can use to help you do some market research. For instance, one of the models that we just discussed is the Maslow hierarchy of needs, the basic needs model. You can sit back and say, okay, here are the basic needs of people. Here's my idea. How does it fit? Do I need to adjust to really focus on a more basic need or not? Another model that you can look at is emotional needs. So Abraham Maslow talks about physiological and emotional needs, but there are some emotional needs models that can really help you dig in and understand where people are coming from. You can look at the markets from a geographical perspective, from a demographic or a socioeconomical perspective, from a psychographic approach, from a behavioral approach, from a product-related market segmentation approach. You can focus on the job to be done, and this is another approach that was introduced by Clayton Christensen out of Harvard. And again, you can focus on your noble passions and the talents and strengths that you have. Now, each of these approaches that we've discussed, they're actually not laborious. They really help us to begin to get a clear idea of our customers. But there's nothing more important than really seeking to understand. Few people, as it turns out, really listen. Few people, thus, really understand. We're so worried about our interests, and we haven't been able to separate, for the most part. Most people have not been able to separate themselves and to really try to get into the heart and the soul of the customer that they hope to serve. It's important for us to listen not just to their words, but beyond the words. Try to understand what people are really saying. Seek to feel the way they feel is helped when you and I have had similar experiences. If we've had the same pain or similar pain, there's nothing that can replace that. And oftentimes, if you focus on the struggles that you've had and how you've been able to overcome those struggles, that can be invaluable information for people. Now, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, she wrote the following, and I love this. The most beautiful people we have known are those that have known defeat, known suffering, known struggle, known loss, and have found their way out of the depth. One of the things that I'm going to really encourage you to do is to talk with people and ask them simple questions. Ask them what their pains are, what their fears, what their struggles are. Try to continue to ask the why questions so you can really get down to the root cause. And it's important for you as you talk with prospective clients each and every day, and you might have fears about doing it, and I would say that you've got to just set those aside. And it's extremely rewarding, not just to you, but to the other person that you're talking to, if you can have a meaningful conversation. And as you continue to talk with your prospective customers, you're going to see some patterns of needs and emotions, but it's important for you to sit back and to listen and to write down. Write down the actual words that they use. Now, the temptation is for you and I to think we understand what someone's saying. We understand it from our perspective, from our words, and so we might take notes and we might write them in our own words. But what's more important is understanding the words that they're using, and that'll help you develop your product, but it'll also help you in your marketing so that you can really connect, so you understand at a deeper level. Now, identify most importantly the emotional words and the phrases that they use. Use their words again as you create your product and your marketing material in a way that can connect deeply with them. Now, so many of the products that are out there today, they really are excuses. They're a poor joke. They don't solve real problems. And so one of the key things that you can do to really develop a compelling product and service is to simply understand the root causes. And there are different problem-solving models that are out there, and this one is just a generic one, but it's very helpful. First thing that you would do using this model is you would identify the problem perception. So what is the perception of the problem that your prospects have? And clarify the problem. And then what you want to do is you really understand the perspective and you really are clear about the problem. Then you want to locate the points of causes. And one of the ways that you can do this is simply to ask why repeatedly. And by asking why, that question repeatedly, you're getting deeper and deeper. And by getting deeper and deeper, you're able to remove the layers of symptoms so that you ultimately can find the core, the root cause. And then once you understand and you locate the points of causes, then you can begin to define countermeasures. And what you want to do, obviously, is you want to develop a countermeasure and you want to evaluate it. You want to test it and you want to see how it's working. And after you get that refined and you come up with a countermeasure that really does solve the problem, then you want to standardize. So this is a generic problem-solving model, but it's vitally important that you not just be a fly-by-night, use the right words, really get out there in the marketplace and make a big splash, but not really solve the underlying problems. You really want to separate yourself from that, and you want to address core problems and solve those problems. Another important concept for you to think about as you go about researching and trying to develop a compelling product and service. And this idea actually comes from the book Positioning and The Battle of Your Mind. And this is written by Al Ries and Jack Trott. And they say it's important for you and I to focus on being unique and to be first. They write, it's better to be first than to be better. And they emphasize that it's important for you and I to position our product and to position our company as the original and the leader. The book Made to Stick, it also offers some invaluable insights. And part of what you want to do is you want to create content and marketing that really sticks with people, that is something that they can really remember. And two brothers, Chip Heath and Dan Heath, what they did is they did research, considerable research, and really trying to understand why some ideas survive and most die. And as they looked at the variables that are out there, they said, okay, there are 6 variables that are most important. And they created an acronym to help us remember these key 6 factors. And again, these key 6 factors, they're important for us to keep in mind as we develop both our product and our marketing material. And the first, the acronym is SUCCESS, and the first letter in SUCCESS is an S, and that stands for simple. Now, Dan and Chip, they explain that simplicity is not about dumbing down. It's about prioritizing. What is the core of your message? The U in SUCCESS, it stands for unexpected. What you want to do is you want to try to grab people's attention by surprising them. And then the C in SUCCESS, that stands for concrete. And they emphasize that we should make sure that an idea is tangible so that it can be grasped, so that it can be felt, so it can be dealt with. And then the fourth letter, the second C, credibility. Give an idea credibility or believability. Ideas, they can get credibility from outside the organization or even inside the organization. You can use statistics, you can provide vivid details. Now the E in SUCCESS, that stands for emotional. People care about people. They just don't care as much about numbers. So help people to see the importance at a people level of an idea. The 6th letter is S, and it's for stories. And stories, we know the importance of stories. And the importance is that we empower people to use an idea through a narrative.